Good morning and welcome to Everyday with St John's. We're looking at John chapter 20 verses 30 to 31, and he says this: Jesus did many other miraculous signs in the presence of his disciples, which are not recorded in this book. But these are written that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name. These are the last two verses of chapter 20. We've heard this week about the need to see and believe, God's grace, and that a living hope is here through Christ's death and resurrection on the cross. I think John is summarising in this chapter, and he's making clear his purpose for his book. A number of points to it. Number one, Jesus did many signs. 2, Jesus did lots more than what he has recorded here. Made me think, I wonder why. Why hasn't he recorded everything? But we'll look at that later. 3, he has written it all so that we will, 4, believe that Jesus is the Christ. 5, that Jesus is the Son of God. And finally, number 6, we will believe in him, and by that we will be given eternal life. But we don't have to wait for death for our lives to be changed. I thought, what can I have now? You can have new life, new hope, be a new person. And it's all made possible by believing in Jesus, the risen Lord, and it's God's gift to us. I pondered on why John tells us that Jesus did many other signs in the presence of the disciples and why he didn't include them. And for me, I think it boils down to this: he didn't feel any more was necessary, that we could believe on the basis of what he had already told us. I often used to think, as I read different parts of the gospel, how come the disciples just don't get it? In Mark 6, verse 45, Jesus walks on water. They'd been with him for days. They'd seen him do miracles, and yet they thought it was a ghost. They didn't recognise him. In Mark 4, Jesus calms the storm, and he asks them, "Why are you so afraid?" Repeatedly, they needed telling again and again. They needed to see things. I guess it's easy for us now because we have the whole Bible to read and to be informed about those days, those stories, the telling of things. Whereas for them, it was all by word of mouth, the retelling of the stories. And even though they were with him, they didn't know what was going to happen until after it had occurred. It's easy to think, but I'd have believed, and if I'd been there with them. But actually, I'm not sure would we. Thomas doubted, but he doubted because he said, I just want to see it for myself. In some ways, when Thomas appeared and the disciples were there telling him and they were so excited, he kind of missed out on it. So I think what John is trying in these last two verses is to say to us, look, you've got enough. You've got the evidence. I'm telling you, it's him. Jesus is the Christ. He is the Son of God. You don't need any more, and you can be changed by that. So I think, and I'll leave it with you. Do you believe? Have a good day.